The Phillies have found their footing after the All-Star break and being led by a surprising character. We're going to talk about how Nick Castellanos has somehow become the rock of this team and the model of consistency within the Phillies lineup. Me and Luke are going to break down exactly what is going right for Castellanos at the plate, why his season might be flying under the radar a little bit, and everything else that you need to know. Now, before we dive fully into it, do want to remind you guys to make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. That at this point in time, 86.9% of you guys tuning into the videos have not subscribed to the channel just yet. We got to get this Phillies Digest family growing. We have about 30 games until the MLB playoffs start, and we want each and every one of you a part of this hopefully long journey for this Phillies team. So, Luke, to throw it to you, my guy, what is going on with Casty? Why has he become this model of consistency here?
Yeah, I mean, he's just always been known as consistent Casty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just the dude's freaking turned it on since the All-Star break. He's hitting just under 300 since then. On base percentage of 343. He's got a 489 slugging percentage with an 832 OPS since the All-Star break in 35 games. 11 doubles, one triple. 4 home runs, 21 RBIs with just 21 strikeouts, which is something that I really like to see out of Castellanos. The first 96 games of his season, he struck out 91 times. Since the All-Star break, he's on pace to strike out 30 times less, which is he's really limited the strikeouts since the All-Star break. And he's just crushing lefties this year. He has an 862 OPS against lefties. He's just been really consistent. The swing looks really good. He's consistently putting the ball on the bat. And he seems like a guy that goes up there and he's very confident. Not something I feel like you always saw from Casty. It seems like when he kind of get in the lulls, he kind of just goes through the motions up there a lot. I mean, obviously we know the issue with him and these outside off-speed pitches. That's not really a secret to anybody. But he just looks very relaxed up there, which is something that he's talked about a lot. He said, when I'm relaxed, that's when I play best. Obviously when he's in his best mindset, he's going to play the best baseball. He's talked a bunch about how he plays when Liam is there. Just like when Castellanos is relaxed and he sort of gets in the groove, he's honest to God, he's one of the best hitters on the team when he gets in a groove. And that's sort of been what we've seen since the All-Star break in these last 131 at-bats since then.
Yeah, 100%. And this honestly was something that started to jump out at me during the real cold stretch of this Phillies team. That when you zoom out and look, it's Nick Castellanos and Johan Rojas kind of having the two
Yeah.
best at-bats as far as plate approach there. And why that is not great in the grand scheme, the greater view here, you got to take that with a grain of salt and kind of zoom in and take the positives. And I think Castellanos, his plate approach is significantly better than we've seen from in years past. That's always been kind of my biggest frustration with him. It is going up there hacking. It is swinging at pitches that he just has zero chance or zero business attempting to swing at. It's swinging at every single first pitch. And we're getting way less of that. It does feel like he's played like a smarter baseball player. And to your point, I do think he is very much like a see ball, hit ball kind of guy. That I don't think he's a dude who you're getting in the cage with, getting in the lab and tweaking things in his swing. He's a very reactionary type player, but he's playing his best ball right now. So shout out to him.
Yeah, he's sort of one of those guys for me that just, and I know we throw this word a lot around with the team, but he's just kind of like a vibes player to me. I don't think he spends 4 hours in the indoor hitting cage studying his swing path and his exit velocity. I think he just goes up there and hits the ball.
Yeah.
And when he's hitting the ball, he's hitting the ball, and we obviously know when he's not hitting the ball, he's not hitting the ball. But he's just sort of one of those guys that gets hot. We saw it early in the playoffs last year. We know what happened early in the Braves series. The dude was on a freaking tear, and then he got cold, and that's just sort of. It's just one of the things I think we're going to have to accept about Castellanos. He's going to get hot. He's going to get cold. But when he's hot, having a bat like that in the fifth spot does wonders for this team. Once again, just under 300 since the All-Star break. Just consistent, right? Balls in the gap, bunch of singles. He's not going out there crushing home runs. He has 4 home runs since the break. He's not some 40 home run guy, but he just goes out there and just gets hits when he's hot. And for a guy that's hitting behind Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm, he doesn't need to hit 40 home runs a year, right? He doesn't need to have 150 doubles, you know what I mean? Like it's just he needs to go out there and hit a smooth 260, and that's fine. And that's what he's getting to now. I mean, that average beginning of the year was down under 200, and
Yeah.
now he's up to 250 on the season with an OPS of 719. So I mean, Castellanos is on pace right now for a 20 homer, 85 RBI season. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's something I'll take out of, I would say, probably my fifth best hitter on the team. So as far as this Castellanos thing, it's just he brought consistency in a time where really nobody else did, and that's what I think sort of kept the Phillies from being bad to absolute dumpster fire.
Right. And it's interesting, like, for starters, I think he's been less all or nothing this year, that he is,
Yeah.
squirting ones out to the outfield, little doubles, got little liners for singles, which I think we saw less of that in past years. When it comes to sports as a whole, like, money always comes with expectation. And I think that's been something that has lingered over Castellanos' head his entire tenure in Philadelphia. In all likelihood, he probably never will quite be the guy that they paid for. But if this is what you're getting, that isn't awful. That is something this team can work with.
Yeah.
And to his credit, the dude competes every day. He tries out there. He has his flaws as a baseball player, but he fights through it. And I've honestly kind of respected the way that he's continued to go about his business, compete, and just straight up ended up being very good for this team. Now, another question I want to throw at you, Luke. There's been a little bit more kind of, lineup change up, I would say, lately. You mentioned the 5 hole for Castellanos. Are you confident that's exactly where he sticks with this team?
Yeah, I think that's your lineup going into October. I'm not gonna lie. I think the lineup that you saw tonight. I think that's your lineup. I mean, game one of whatever series you're playing. If it's a right-handed pitcher out there, I think this. Obviously, we know at the top Schwarber, Trey, Harper, boom. I think Castellanos stays in the 5. I think Bryson Stott's right after him. Then Realmuto, Marsh, Hayes. I think that's your lineup against righties. I think we'll obviously know the Rojas thing. He will get in there. He'll be in games. It seems like he's not really just hitting against lefties. He's kind of been in there against both because he's earned it.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk more about Rojas, but he's hitting over 300 since the All-Star break. Just been a contact guy with just an unreal defense in center field. I mean, the one play that he made tonight in extra innings just completely saved the run, saved the game. Had the little finger wagged after. I mean, the kid's got swag to him.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I mean, I know we're both very pro Rojas guys. Listen, if you pay a team this much money, you don't need your 9 hitter to have a 900 OPS. You need him to go out there. You need him to float around the 240 mark on the season, 230, steal some bags, and just play really good defense. And that's what Johan Rojas has done.
Yeah, 100% there. So make sure you're staying tuned for a little deeper dive on Johan Rojas for the next video. But shout out to Nick Castellanos for carrying us through and keeping this Phillies team afloat. The best way to
Yeah,
make
man.
sure you're staying in the loop for the rest of his videos is by smashing that subscribe button. Just 13.1% of you guys tuning in have hit that button so far. So let's get this Phillies Digest growing even further. Make sure you're dropping a like on this video, any comments below, and me and Luke will be talking with you next time. Peace.